Tying nooses at the gallows, checking names off the docket. I got a letter from the man and a bullet with your name on it. Charles got a fist made of steel that he forged from the chains that his fathers wore. Seven Spencer rounds putting bodies in the ground, contract signed and he's back for more. He'll be coming for you. He'll be gunning for you. Hearts beating to the rhythm of the war drum. Tying nooses at the gallows, checking names off the docket. I got a letter from the man and a bullet with your name on it. Checking names off the docket. I got a letter from the man and a bullet with your name on it. Tying nooses at the gallows, checking names off the docket. I got a letter from the man and a bullet with your name on it.
That was a really quick vape.
Was it?
Yeah, he like grabbed it, was like, whew. Anyway, how's it going, everybody? What's up, Rachel, Sherry, Steve? Hope you guys are doing well. We've got a weird topic. Kyle came up with this one, earlier this week?
I had it written down. It was like, what one should we do? And we were like discussing, like, oh, what's the topic? And I was like, this one should be like kind of fun.
Yeah, it's pretty bizarre. But before we get into it, we would like to let everybody know that we do have some shows coming up. Let's see, I got a thing here. Check this out. This is all super cool.
Yeah, we haven't told anybody about this.
Look at this. Look at it.
We just confirmed this yesterday.
Yesterday.
You're fired.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're going to be going down to Myrtle Beach. So we'll be hitting Florence, Pawleys Island, and Myrtle Beach. Not this weekend, but the following weekend, which is pretty exciting. We haven't been back there since before the apocalypse.
Yeah, it's been a couple of years.
So, I mean, we've been to Florence.
We have been to Florence.
But we haven't been to Myrtle Beach, or Pawleys Island, or Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
Or Pawleys Island.
Or Myrtle Beach.
Or Myrtle Beach. But we've been to Florence.
Yeah.
So, you guys...
If you want to get, like, times and show information and where it is, just go to Roshambeaux.com and hit the tour tab, and you can get all the info.
Do it. Do it. So what have you been up to this week, Mr. Kyle?
Well, personally, we've been building that deck in town, and it's almost done.
Yeah.
It looks really good.
Is it a really big deck, or?
It's the biggest deck you've ever seen.
Yeah, that's nice. I like that. Bulbous.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, was working on that graphic for the shop. Finally got that finished and over to y'all.
Yep.
And I think it turned out good.
It's really good. Really dig it.
And being in the graphics mood, we were talking about another t-shirt design. So we got like some options.
Yeah.
And I actually put those options that we have up at Patreon to let them know, see if they like have a favorite. Of
well, there is not any options. It is going to be this one.
That's the one?
Because it's the one, man. Look at it.
It is the one. That's the one that's on the album.
Look at it.
I like it.
Look at it. And that cool like green seafoam color of the black cowboy.
It is cool.
It
It's
looks
unique.
really rad, man. It reminds me of like Night of the Living Dead or something, but like Western.
Yeah.
So we'll be getting this one up soon for orders, right? Up on Store Frontier.
Yeah, I guess like we can probably just put it up whenever we want to if that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, whenever. But yeah, I'm really
We'll
pumped
do it
about that. You showed me that, and I was like, holy guacamole.
Yeah,
That's a good
it's cool.
one.
I'm excited.
Very
about
cool. Very cool. Yeah, I've been just doing like stuff at the shop, getting that. I was showing you some stuff. Like we've increased like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Over
You
the
showed me
past
the
month.
numbers. I was like, dude, that is sick.
About after a couple of months, we've done some pretty solid increases. We've got a big RCQ thing going on, and they don't mind the camera shaking. We've got that going on next. Is it no? It's not next weekend, but the following weekend we're going to be doing RCQ, which is like a regional qualifier thing. So people from all around are going to be coming in, like from around, like probably around the state, to be honest. Maybe like a couple states over, just to do those qualifiers, so they can go to like Pro Tour and things like that. So we're really pumped about that.
Cool.
Finally got the cover song finished, which is cool. So we got to shoot the video for it. Maybe we'll shoot it this Sunday, if Kyle
I think
can.
so. I think I can.
If Kyle can do it, we're gonna shoot it this Sunday. Really pumped about it. We had some really cool ideas, so we're taking a little bit of time on it. But yeah, thank you, Rachel. But yeah, let's get into our topic, man. So like, your job sucks.
Yes. So everyone, they kind of say that. They're like, man, work sucks. It's kind of like a thing. I think that's like a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Work sucks. It was a Blink-182 song.
Sure.
So
Well, yeah, everybody hates doing like the mundane.
yeah, the Monday. And it sucks when your job sucks.
Yeah.
And we'll probably talk about our own like philosophy about that. But these are 10 jobs that I found, and maybe we'll do a part 2 some other time, because there's a bunch of jobs that were terrible that don't exist anymore.
I've got one. I got the worst job ever that is not on the list.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
You say it right now?
You want me to say it right now?
Or is it so good you gotta say it at the end?
Oh, I'll wait.
You can wait at the end.
I'm gonna wait.
Okay, you can wait at the end.
Yeah.
Alright. So
It's gonna be way worse than any of these.
So this was a job, and it stopped being a job in 1956. This job is called a pin setter.
Pin setter.
And so when you go bowling now, right? Like you bowl down the lane, and there's this machine that like collects the ball and puts the pins, back and all that stuff, and cleans it up and resets them. Well, before that machine, people wanted to go bowling, and that didn't exist.
Right.
So there was a dude that had to like be up on this little catwalk.
Right.
And he's just chilling out. He might be having an easy day. And it was the dude's job to like run down the lanes.
I don't know if he's chilling out, man. He looks like he's scared that his legs are gonna get hit with a big ass bowling ball or something.
And
You know what I mean?
the thing is, there's a couple other photos I found, but they're actually like behind that little thing, and they're actually like up, straddling and like covering their private areas, being in case like a ball or pin comes flying up at them.
Nancy here says that her dad used to be a pin setter. Hey,
That's crazy.
That is pretty cool.
So imagine like you have to like run across the little catwalk and like set up the pins, and I guess like this guy had it pretty good, I guess, because he didn't have to run the ball back.
Right.
They had a little track.
They had a little ramp. Yeah.
There's a little ramp.
Yeah.
And I think there's probably one on the other side as well, or
So
maybe not.
So do you think it's a new thing that robots are taking over? No, all the pin setters are like, the robots took my job.
Yeah, robots took my job.
So, all right, next one up.
Okay, so this one is crazy. This is an herb strewer and a necessary woman is what they were called.
Unnecessary woman. All right, I've heard of a few of those.
A necessary woman.
Oh, a necessary woman. I've never heard of that.
Not an unnecessary woman.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. These are jokes.
These are jokes.
Yeah.
So an herb strewer was someone that
Strew herbs.
Before we had modern plumbing.
Yeah.
If you were poor, you would go use an outhouse and you build an outhouse.
Yeah.
But if you were well-to-do, you didn't want to go outside in the cold to do your business, so you wanted to have a place to do it in your home.
Play a corner.
Yeah. So the problem with that is your home's going to smell terrible. So if you were well-to-do and you didn't want to have to go to the outhouse and you had a room to do your business, you would hire an herb strewer to come in and like put different herbs throughout your house and in the room to make it not smell so bad.
Right.
And then
I guess they did it in like a bucket.
yeah.
Okay.
And then the necessary woman was the woman that you hired to take the bucket outside and dispose of it.
I feel like that
and
is very
clean the
necessary.
bucket. Yes, it was very necessary.
Very necessary.
Yes. So a lot of times this would be the same person or it would be two different people.
I guess I don't know if
Someone-
it's totally necessary. I guess if you're the one who does the deed, man, why don't you take out your own bucket?
Yeah, because well, you got time for that. You're,
Right.
you're an important
important man.
ruling
Yeah.
person. You know what I mean?
Silly.
You don't have time to
Ridiculous.
handle your own shit.
Ridiculous.
Literally.
Yeah. All right.
So
so
that,
if you think your job sucks sitting behind a
yeah, you could be like the
desk
person
for a while,
that has
yeah.
to like go around to all the people's houses and like give them herbs to their house and like walk in, their house smells terrible. And
yeah, you're
there's
basically
herbs
like covering up the smell of shit all
and
day.
clean their buckets for them and so,
Nancy here says she handled the unmentionable
yeah.
True.
So
necessarily.
I don't think that job exists anymore. Maybe at like a college frat house or something.
Well, we
that
have
might
different
exist.
styles of those jobs. You know, you have people that clean like sewage pumps. You've got people that actually like clean out what are those
Like
things?
porta potties.
Porta potties
yeah,
and stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, it's
But they
a
don't have
little-
herbs. What do they have? They have some
No,
chemical
herbs,
shit
some chemicals,
probably.
Yeah.
When you walk to an outhouse or a porta potty, it always smells just like the worst.
Yeah.
It's almost like because you smell the heated plastic.
And it makes it just makes it worse.
And then it's the
Yeah. And then whatever
heated
chemicals
goop.
in there that they put to like try to make it not smell.
right. It's
and
in the water,
disinfect
I
it.
believe. It's some kind of like blue something.
Yeah, it's really blue.
Yeah.
I don't know
That's
what
not the
it
name
is.
of it, but I know it's blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all, if you know what they put in the bottom of the porta potties,
We need to know.
Let us know. We want to know.
We need to know. All right,
maybe,
next one.
Maybe it's like an herb derivative.
Could be.
You know, and then it comes from the ancient herb strewers.
I'm sure it's from like
It's probably like
some chemical
It's probably
plant.
like turpentine made from like lilac, and that's why it's so blue. You know.
Oh right. It's this blue. All right. Next one up.
Okay, so the next one, there's two jobs. One, it's a phrenologist and a physiognomist. I think I'm saying that right, physiognomist. Mm-hmm. So.
Wait, well, hold on real quick. By the picture right there, make sure you leave in the comments, what do you think he's doing? We're going to give you guys a couple of seconds. What is that guy doing
Like what you think
to that child?
What you think he's doing. This is actually a sketch from the time period that this was practiced.
Right.
I think it's from like the mid 1800s.
Yeah. What do you think? Like, well, I mean, you know. So
I know.
Then I'm going to give my guess.
You
I'm
can
going to give my
what it
guess.
is. Yeah.
It could be a head massager. It could be a person reading bumps, says Nancy. It could be a professional child molester. This could be a thing.
Nope. Nope, it's not.
It's not. There is onlookers. I'm guessing maybe that's the child's parents.
Yes, it
So-
definitely. It most likely would have been the child's parent. Or it
He's
could have
reading
been-
his mind and wondering why he won't listen.
You know,
That
okay,
could be a
so
thing.
like
Or go
both,
ahead.
both of you are kind of right. Reading
Right.
bumps, that's totally part of it.
Yeah.
And you know, parents that have a delinquent child and don't know what to do probably would go see a phrenologist
Okay.
at the time. So phrenology is a pseudoscience, and it's measuring the bumps on your head to determine what your personality traits are. So a phrenologist would measure your head and you know, count the bumps and see what was protruding where, and it would give you like personality ratings.
Right.
Like if you had whatever their system was, they'd say like, well, you get so many combativeness points, or you get so many deception points, or destructiveness, or caution,
Right.
or benevolence, or for adults that sexual drive. That say like, hey, I
What if you don't have any bumps
can't
on
get
your
it up
head?
anymore, and they'd be like, oh, well, it's because of this bump on your head. You know?
What if you have no bumps?
Well, it wasn't that like it was
He has no soul.
just bumps on your head.
Yeah.
It was like they crafted this whole pseudoscience around
Weird.
it of
What's
how
up,
your head was
Rico?
shaped.
Thanks for joining us, man. Wasabi.
So and And then the physiognomists were like another group kind of thing, but they would just look at your face.
Right.
And they would be like, oh, okay, well, your nose is shaped like this, so obviously, you're a lying person.
Yeah.
And, whatever it was. But the term highbrow, if you had high brows in phrenology and or is it physiognomy? I don't know. But according to the physiognomist would say that you are very intelligent. So that's where like the highbrow thing comes from.
How intelligent am I?
Yeah. Like highbrow humor is like only for intelligent people.
I don't think they go much higher though.
So this went on. It was in early practice, like 500 BC. There was cultures that would kind of practice it. They would like look at the shape of your head or look at your facial features and determine like who you were.
I don't know if this job sucks so much though, because you can like manipulate people around you with it.
You're like this job actually seems like
you're like a person that does all these things and you are awful.
Yeah, and then you get paid for it.
And you get paid for it.
So this job, it probably didn't suck, but it probably sucked for like the people that were getting duped by it. But the thing that replaced this, it was actually in 2010 when like you'd go and take those little tests online on Facebook and click on it and figure out like what type of person you were.
Right.
And
it's a whole thing. All right, here, Jesse says here in the comments, according to Google, the blue liquid is powerful deodorizer with disinfectant properties meant to help combat the smells that are produced in the restroom. There we go. There we go. Now we know. Porta potty science.
All right, so the next job is called a resurrectionist.
Ooh.
And I believe this is. I don't know. Obviously, it's a sketch.
Yeah.
I don't know if this one is a period correct sketch or not. I know the other one.
I think this is like an actual sketch photo. I think that's. I mean, there was
like someone like they're like hold still.
And they're like, oh,
they're like drawing them.
You all look like goblin people.
And they're like, my nose isn't that big. And they're like, shut up, Steve.
Right.
You know? Yeah. I don't know. Maybe.
Who knows? Probably not.
So, resurrectionists were body snatchers that were employed by anatomists, or people that studied human anatomy.
Is that what an anatomist would do?
An anatomist is.
All right. Like a psychologist. What do you think they study?
Psychos.
Psychos.
I don't know.
All right. Resurrectionalists.
Resurrectionists. They were body snatchers employed by... by anatomists to exhume bodies that were recently deceased for research purposes in the United Kingdom. And at the time that it was practiced, people in the United Kingdom were superstitious about having your body studied by science and having it like defiled, and the gods wouldn't like it and things like that. So a lot of people did not want to donate their body to science, or when their loved one died, they didn't want to donate their body to science. So a lot of people, they resorted to grave robbing to be able to study the human body.
They're like, oh, you didn't want to, too bad.
We're going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
So they would pay some group of guys to go dig up bodies in the middle of the night and bring them over.
Yeah.
So this job went away in the UK, massively went away in 1752, because Parliament, they enacted something called the Murder Act of 1752. And what the Murder Act did is it allowed judges to sentence criminals to dissection in lieu of public execution. So if you committed a crime where they would hang you in the square in front of everybody, the judge could opt to have you to die by dissection. So
all right.
They stopped, obviously, so there was a lot more bodies available.
Right.
Because of this. Like that job sucked, and it's a dark time.
It's a dark time.
What I mean? So at least Monday morning you could think about that.
Right.
If you're like, man, this job sucks, and you're like, well,
like you're getting ready. You're like, oh, I'm gonna go drive the school bus today. I hate these children. I hate my life. I hate what I'm doing.
Well, you're not a resurrectionist.
You're not a resurrectionist
or an anatomist.
Yeah.
is dissecting criminals. For
Steve here says, my worst job was cleaning out pig stalls.
Mm-hmm.
I could only imagine. That sounds
awful.
Unless you're friends with them and you can like talk to them, share like all your secrets.
I heard pigs are really smart.
Or if you kill people, they'll eat them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that'd probably be the best
'Cause
job
they'll
if
eat
you like to
anything.
kill people. Yeah.
If you're like a serial murderer.
Yeah, you're like, I work for a pig farm.
Uh-huh.
And then anytime you get a body, you just feed it to the pigs.
Yeah, because they eat the bones and everything.
They just chop it down, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Don't kill people.
I don't really know any pig farmers. Then
Alright.
if I did, I'd be suspicious of
Well,
them.
now we know an ex-pig stall cleaner. Rico here says, I haven't had a bad job because I collect money. But the most sucky one was tobacco farming. I imagine, I wonder if, like the nicotine in tobacco, for instance, now you can help us out here, Rico. Like, when you're walking through the field,
Would you run naked through the field?
Do you actually get nicotine on you?
And get nicotine?
Yeah, like, could you actually get overly exposed to nicotine because it can be toxic?
Yeah,
if
that's
you get
what
it on your
that's
skin.
what like bug repellent, or not bug repellent, but like I know there's pesticides that are
Right.
made from nicotine.
Yeah, do you remember that no smoking or something like that? And it's like they killed that guy with nicotine patches.
Oh, and thank you for smoking.
Thank you for smoking.
Yeah,
That's it.
they
Yeah.
tried to kill him, and they
Yeah.
almost did.
But you
yeah.
can die from it.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
So let us know that there, Rico. And Nancy says, my worst job was delivering phone books.
Delivering phone books.
What is this
Which
primitive
that is
device?
that's a job that probably does not exist anymore.
Well, phone books don't exist anymore, Kyle.
Do they?
They
I
don't.
swear I got one not that long ago. In the mail.
No, that was anthrax.
No, I remember.
Yeah.
I remember like being like, why do they still send us these?
Yeah, because you have the internet.
Yeah.
That is.
But
the
I remember
phone book.
getting a phone, but I didn't get one last year or the year before. But I want to say like a couple years ago, I was still getting a phone book from like the electric company.
Whose phone number is in there?
Oh, everybody's.
All
the
'cause it's not
businesses?
cell phones and stuff.
No, it was any of the landlines.
Guess it's gone to business.
Landlines and
Yeah.
businesses.
Rico says here, you get tar all over you, so yes.
Ugh.
Gross. All right, next one. What we got?
Okay. The next one is called a tosher. So a tosher
Also
was,
known as a tache.
yeah,
Yeah.
I guess it,
No, it's not. It's stupid.
no running through the naked guy.
No running- what does it say? Rico says, no running through the Baker Nakey Kyle.
Okay. Couldn't run through the fields naked.
Yeah.
I guess they'd fire you for that.
Yeah.
All right.
Could be fun though. You'd be all
Could be
buzzed
fun,
out,
though.
you know, buzzed out, and you're all like chafed out from all like the leaves just smacking all over your delicates. The whole
You're like,
thing.
woo, I need a drink now.
Right.
You know those people that like they only smoke when they drink?
Right. Yeah. All right.
I only drink when I run naked through
a
the tobacco
tosher.
field.
What is a tosher?
Okay, so a tosher is a sewer hunter that searched for valuables people may have accidentally flushed away to be cleaned and resold at local shops. So you would have a shop, and maybe a knick-knack shop or a jewelry store, and you'd be like, I'm kind of low on inventory, I need a runner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you would hire a tosher to go into the sewers and just see if they could find something that could be resold.
Now, are they also like for hire though? Like, what happens if I accidentally flush like a ring or some money?
Oh, and
Could you hire them
Yeah, and
to,
you
like,
have like
go get it?
like a PI.
Right, but like a.
I guess if you knew someone, you'd be like, hey, like, we just accidentally flushed this, or
Right.
this just entered the sewer. I don't know if like, I don't know what period this is from. Obviously, they had photographs.
Did they?
But this is in England. I know it
Yeah.
was taken.
I do like their mustaches.
Uh,
Very impressive.
but I guess you like if you knew someone that worked as a tosher, you know, you'd probably be like, hey, like go check out 4th Street real quick. You know what I mean?
Nancy says, if it gets flushed, let it go.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what they did.
Yeah.
So again, if you're like, oh, I've got to go over here and work for this business. What kind of business,
yeah,
Kyle?
like I don't know. It's like it's probably not as shitty as this job.
It's not as shitty as this.
You know,
Yeah,
yeah.
so you don't have to.
Pun intended.
Rico here says, I seen a guy get beaten by his dad with a tobacco stalk when he, sorry,
when
he wrecked his dad's truck in the field. You get that?
He was drunk as a skunk. So it is. It's tobacco and alcohol goes together.
Oh my goodness, that's hilarious. All right, next one. We've got a knocker-rooper?
This is a knocker-upper.
Knocker-upper.
And it's not what you think.
Yeah, it's not what you think. It could be, though. I'm sure that's a job.
So before alarm clocks, if you lived in the city and you didn't have a rooster to wake you up, you would pay someone to come and just violently knock on your window until you woke up.
Really?
Yes. So there would be like
this is another case of like the robots are taking over.
Yeah. So
Right.
it was like you would have like street teams, and they'd say like, we need to go work. You know, you're gonna go on this block and wake up all of the coal workers, and you're gonna go on this block and you're gonna wake up whoever and get everyone ready for work. And it was like a service that you would pay for, and I'm sure there's probably certain towns where like the town
They just did it.
the town would employ them. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
because
because they were like, we can't afford like a bell, so we're gonna hire this weird lady with a stick. What is she doing though?
She actually
is she shooting rocks?
She is being innovative, and she has a pea shooter. Mm-hmm. Or something. I imagine like rocks would break windows, so it'd probably have to be something softer than a rock.
Yeah, that's true.
But like some type of spitball or
imagine trying to get up and
beans.
it's just like a freaking spit wad just hitting your window. Like, how are you supposed to wake up to that?
But like she probably could like wake up more people per hour and get a raise or something. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's boom, 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 boom,
Right,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? That guy's like, you know, having to use a stick to get up to the high windows.
But I think I would pay the extra for the guy with the stick though. I feel like I'd wake up to that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, there was a couple photos. There would be people that had like mallets that would like bang on the front door.
Right.
And there was one guy. I guess it was. I'm assuming that when you got hired by whoever hired you for this, they were like, just go wake people up.
Right.
Because there was one guy. It was like this old guy. He built this like contraption of like these sticks tied together with little like fingers and arms on it and stuff. And
right, like one of those like clapper.
Yeah,
things.
so it seemed like they didn't really supply you with the tools necessary for the job. You just kind of had to go wake people up.
Rico here says, knocker up or sign me up.
I know, right? Yeah, could you imagine and be like, yeah, I'd like to be a knocker upper, please.
I would love that. And then you show up and like, here's
show
your
up and
stick.
they're like, here's your stick and pea shooter.
And do your best. Oh my goodness. All right. So, if you like wake up and you're like, I gotta go like make some food and serve it to these ungrateful people, just imagine you'd be having to walk around with a freaking spitball gun and a stick.
At the same time, though, I mean, like, if it paid pretty well, you know what I mean? You're like, you just go around with a spitball gun all morning.
I do like Sherry here says, do they have a snooze option? Right? What are you supposed to do? Stop!
Stop! Come back in 10 minutes, please.
Come back! Yeah, I don't think, because they're having to like make their rounds. I guess they could wait for a second.
I guess like maybe like if you paid them a little extra, it'd be like, hey, on your way back, will you come back and make sure I'm up?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm awful at this.
Yeah.
But back then, you're probably waking up anyway. You couldn't breathe. There's like no AC, and you're just like, I'm dying. I need to wake up anyway.
Yeah.
All right, next one up.
The next one is called a badger.
Not to be confused with a badger.
Yeah. So a badger was a person that would go around to the farmers and buy up as many of their crop as they could and resell them to the shopkeepers at an inflated price. So it was like a middle.
That's like distribution.
Yeah, it was like
That's like what people do.
Yeah, they were a middleman.
Yeah.
So like that job still kind of exists today, but it doesn't exist in like the way that this exists now.
Well, like wholesalers.
But yeah, it was
That's what
basically
that
it was
is.
basically like the start of the wholesale industry.
I don't feel like that job sucks.
Yeah, well the thing
They were probably making bank, dude.
the thing is they were making bank because they controlled all of the supply for all of this demand.
Well, you need this food to, live, so I'm going to go buy all
So
of it.
the term "stop badgering me" comes from these people that would basically be like, "Well, what are you gonna do? I'm holding all the cards here."
Nancy says here, sounds like Kroger.
Yeah. So It is a job, like wholesale still does exist, you know,
Right.
and then they would probably sit and go and be like, hey, I'm buying all of this crop, so you need to give it to me at a better price. And then they
Right.
would sell it at an even more inflated price.
Sure.
So yeah, it still kind of does exist. It's a little more regulated now, and there's a little more transparency in business.
Those
now
are
where you can-
onions, right? And then those are huge ass carrots. Or
Yeah.
Parsnips.
It looks like something like some kind of root. But yeah, he seems real happy. He seems like he's
He's
gonna go
pumped,
make,
dude.
like he's gonna go make some money.
See, I'm about to sell one of these onions I paid like 2 cents for like 25 cents.
How much you got? How hungry
Right.
are
How
you?
hungry are you? You want an onion? I think those are carrots, Steve. Either that or like parsnips. There's no color, so I can't tell. Like Kyle said, some kind of root. That's a big ass.
It looks like he's holding some cauliflower too, doesn't he?
Oh, like right here in his arm. Yeah. See, I thought that was maybe like a flower, like maybe like they're dating. You know, and he came and was like, here, put on your cauliflower.
You brought me some onions.
Yeah.
We can go to the dance now.
He's like, well, this potato?
Yeah.
That's what he's, All right. And Nancy says, I think parsnip. And Jesse here says, I thought they were leeks. I think a leek is green and leafy.
But a leek is a type of wild onion.
Right.
So, I mean,
And
it's
I eat
not
leeks.
that different.
I mean, what's wrong with that?
Leeks? What's wrong with that? Leeks, I don't think have the bulb that onions do.
No, they have like a smaller bulb that's kind of comparable to the stalk.
But they taste good.
All right, next one up. A ratiner.
Yeah, a ratiner.
Ratiner.
So
I'm gonna blow this
there
guy up
were
here.
2 jobs. There's a little history behind this. So you had rat catchers and you had ratiners. So
That's too big.
rat catchers were employed during the bubonic plague by the government to try to curb the spread of the bubonic plague by catching rats and disposing of them.
Yeah.
So, and through various plagues.
Various what?
Plagues.
Okay.
Okay.
That's how you say it.
I had to practice today.
Yeah. It's plagues.
Through various plagues.
Yeah.
They
put the flags in the bags.
There would be rat catchers employed.
Yeah.
So what would happen is the plague would be over and the threat would be gone, but you would have all these people that had a very specific job skill that were really good at catching rats.
Right.
And that's all they know.
Yeah.
So those people became ratiners.
I like that he's dressed up so nice.
Yes, and so what this was is if you had, experience catching rats, a lot of people, they would still catch the rats and they would market them as live dog toys. And so you could go and they'd be like, hey, here's a toy for your dog.
Right.
How many do you want?
Don't you trust me? I'm wearing a suit.
And then if you were really good, what you would do is you would train rats. And you would come up with like a little pop-up show and you would go entertain patrons in a bar.
That sounds like a fun job.
With rats and
Right.
with tricks that your
And
rats
he would
could
play
do.
his pipe, and he would be like one of those like rat kings.
Yeah, like whatever you could do to just entertain. It was like a show.
And if you actually became the Rat King, then you could battle the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that sounds like a pretty killer job.
exactly. You'd be all Splinter.
But if you are going to the hospital and hate the doctors because they won't give you raises, but they're bringing in people from outside, like people that have to travel in, they're paying those nurses more money, but they're not willing to pay you more money. Just imagine.
You could be catching rats.
You could be catching rats.
Yeah.
It's not great. It's not great.
So yeah, I imagine like if you got really good at it and you became a ratiner, like maybe life would be better
Right.
than just being like the guy that had to catch rats and probably get the bubonic plague while
Right.
doing it.
Rico here says that it's a tuber. That it's probably a tuber. The one in the guy that bought up all the food supply and tried to sell it for more money. Then the dogs and cats took their jobs. Right? Just catch a rat.
Right.
All right, next one up.
And foreign dogs and cats too.
Yeah.
All the breeds from other countries. All the breeds from other countries.
Breeds of dogs. All right, what in the world?
I'd be fine with an American bulldog, okay? But don't be bringing your Korean Jindo over here.
Now this kind of looks like an old school Gibson amp mixed with a TV.
It does look like it. So actually, what this is this is actually a very, very early 1950s version of a teleprompter.
Oh, okay.
So it was like they'd put a piece of paper in there,
Right.
and it was illuminated, and then you could kind of see from probably not too far away, but you could
Right.
see. So before there were teleprompters,
Did somebody
And-
like put that over their head and be like, and like mouth the words?
so
to 'em?
so this is what happened. So especially in Roman culture, but in a lot of cultures where you had a ruler or a king, it was very important that you appeared wise to your subjects, and especially if there was like a foreign ruler that came in that was visiting.
Sure.
You know, like you definitely had to know all about them
Right.
and all that stuff,
Right.
and you could not look like a fool.
So when you're a ruler, don't look like a fool, you say.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, it used to be important.
Right, used to be, not anymore.
Anyway,
Jesse here says, can it cook toast? Possibly.
that probably's got a 40-watt bulb in there.
got
I'm sure.
something in
Probably
there.
got hot.
Yeah, he's put it on the top.
So before this, you would have a nomenclator. So a nomenclator was someone that would basically get all of the information from the spies, you know, from the country over, or the person that needed an audience with the king. So there'd be information gathered on them, and then the nomenclator would either sit next to the king, or they would sit across from the king. So if they were sitting next to the king, they would just sit and kind of whisper, like, "This is Bob."
Oh, like what's his name? What's his name? From Star Wars, sat next to Jabba.
Yes, it's
that guy.
it's very much like that.
What's his name?
What's his name?
Come on, and Boba Fett.
Bib
killed-
Fortuna. His name
Yeah.
is Bib Fortuna.
That's it.
Yeah, very much like Bib Fortuna. Or he would be across the room and he would mouth the words like, "This is so and so. They're here
Right.
from Ethiopia and
Right.
they want to sell tapestry."
Right.
And and all that stuff.
They like tapestry.
Or whatever they're selling. So then the king could appear wise. So
Right.
so obviously it was like kind of like the teleprompter replaced that person. That was
Right.
actually a job.
Yeah.
So
Which sometimes it seems like it could be better.
yeah, it almost seems like it would be better if there was an actual person
Yeah.
that actually did.
But then they'll
Did
know.
the research.
But
Yeah,
they know
then
anyway.
They know someone's prompting. Yeah,
They know
that's-
anyway.
You
Like
know
when you
that
see
people are
somebody
on
like some like
teleprompter.
politician or something, you know it's a.
You know they're
teleprompter.
reading from a teleprompter.
Yeah. Sherry here says kind of ironic. Yeah. And Nancy here says he wants to sell a bill of goods. Right. So you could now if you're thinking, man, I don't want to go over here and like work at the bank because I have to deal with people and count the money, and the people at the bank, the guy ahead of me is like not allowing me to like live to my full potential, and he's like, "Oh, you're just a teller," but you're like, "No, but I want to be able to give out loans and stuff," and he's like, "No, you don't have the right look."
You could be a nomenclator, and if you
You
got
know.
something wrong, you're probably like under threat of execution all the
Right.
time because you made the king look bad.
Yeah.
In front of this country that we might go to war with.
Yeah.
So
And then he
it
kills
was-
you.
Yeah, so it's definitely a high stress job.
Right.
It might seem cool to be like, "Oh, I get to tell the king what to say."
Right.
But if you said the wrong thing, you were
dead.
screwed.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you will die. All right, this is our last one here.
Last
I'm
one.
really interested in knowing what this one is, Kyle. So this one is called a gong
It's
farmer.
called a gong farmer.
Now I want everyone here in the comments to try to figure out what they are from this picture.
And don't Google it.
Don't
just
Google
try to
it.
figure out what
Do
it is.
not
from the
Google
picture.
it. We just need it from the picture. What do you guys think it is? Time is ticking. So these jobs are weird, man.
Yeah, and like there's so many more weird jobs. I tried to pick, like I literally found like 100 of them.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna pick 10.
Right.
And maybe we'll do other ones later or
Right.
something. So
Anybody?
we'll
Let's see.
give them a
Yeah. Steve here already says here bathwater totes.
bathwater totes.
They carry bathwater.
No,
okay.
it's not that.
All right.
not that.
A gong farmer.
Chamber pot carrier.
Chamber pot carrier.
Stuffs
Nancy
children
says.
into barrels.
Yeah. Could stuff children into barrels. That is a very good. A gong farmer.
Gong farmer.
Yes, a gong farmer, Rico. What is a gong farmer?
right.
I'm guessing they don't farm gongs.
No, they don't have like a big symbol in there.
Right, with like
Yeah.
a big mallet.
Because that would probably be a decent job.
All right, so
All right.
what is it, Kyle?
All right,
What is
so-
a gong farmer? None of us know.
So, as we've kind of with this set of jobs, we found out that like indoor plumbing, like, was awesome because then it didn't mean like you'd have people like going and looking through stuff. I guess like maybe that could still exist, you know.
Right.
But like since like we've had modern plumbing and there's like treatment centers and stuff, like if you lose something very valuable, like maybe they'll find it at the osmosis center or something,
Right.
you know. And you don't need herb strewers and necessary women and like all that stuff. So this basically before modern sewer systems, human waste had to be routed. So even if it was like a primitive sewer system, like it had to go somewhere, and they didn't have treatment facilities to recycle water. So all of that human waste was either carried in buckets or piped out of town to the edge of town into a cesspit, where it was just all of everybody's
demons.
we're like in this ditch or pit or whatever.
Right.
And a gong farmer was in charge of making sure that that didn't get out of hand.
Right.
So every day you had to go out to the cesspit of everybody's in towns.
So you're saying
So-
that gong, did gong mean something else, or does it mean something else that I don't realize?
No, it just means like shit farmer.
Shit farmer.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
so anyway,
Shit
so you
slinger.
would go and they would say, well, looks like the cesspit's overflowing. I guess we'll dig another one and get some shovels and transfer some of that over. Or maybe we need to dig another gully and spread it out farther, or make
Right.
make the pit bigger. And that was just what you had to do every day.
That's bizarre.
And or collect it and try to make fertilizer out of it. It was like they're like that's what the gong farmers do. They're like it goes out there and then it's their problem and we don't want to smell it anymore.
Right.
You know, so
That's disgusting. Give me
yeah.
the baser field any day. Right?
Yeah.
Backer. He's saying backer, and I keep saying baser. But I think that's, isn't that how you say
could it be
baser?
Baxter?
He's saying backer like tobacco. Because the tobacco.
Oh, the backer farm. Yeah, it's like tobacco. Yeah.
God, look at me.
Well, it makes sense. Tobacco's got to. Yeah, I mean, it's
Right.
That's right.
So, if you work at a tobacco farm and you're like, man, I hate this job,
you could have been a gong farmer.
you could have been a gong farmer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sherry here says, well, thought my job sucked. New perspective here. Right? That's the whole thing, man. That is the whole thing. By the way, be sure to leave your worst jobs. We'd love to know in the comments here. But before we get to our wrap up, we are going to remind everybody.
He was like, "What's the big ass barrel for?" And be like, "That was because
That's for shit.
there'd be like, hey, we got to take this out of this cesspit because this one's too full and move it to the one that we're digging over there."
Right.
And yeah.
So, as a reminder, we have merchandise over there on storefrontier.com/Roshambeaux. Be sure to go over there and check out all the different cuts and sizes and designs. As we showed you guys earlier, we do have a brand new design that will be posted up here soon. We will show that again here in a minute, hopefully. I think I will go back to that one. So, go over there and check it out, man. Rock that shed. That's all I got to say. Rock it.
Rocket.
Yeah.
Hard.
Yeah. So Kyle, what's your final thoughts on this? Oh wait. Worst job ever. Are you ready? Everybody ready for this?
Worst job. You're gonna say your worst job?
No.
Oh, just what the worst job ever is.
Yeah, dude. Remember from the beginning, Kyle.
From the beginning.
I love you. All right.
Oh,
So
I'm
the-
sorry. I thought you were setting up the story. Like, don't you remember when we first met?
No.
What I had to do?
No.
From the beginning of the show.
Right.
Yes,
The
I
show.
remember, I
Today.
remember you saying that you were going to say
Today.
something about the worst job ever, and I do remember that. Okay.
One of the Clintons' security team.
You think that's the worst job
I think
ever?
that's the worst job ever.
Their security team?
Did you hear about that guy that like got hung from a tree with an extension cord but had a shotgun blast in his chest and they're like suicide?
Oh, he was on the security team?
He like let Epstein into the White House.
Oh, see, I
multiple
thought he was
times,
like,
and
I thought he was a reporter.
he's whatever they want you to think he is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, what's your final thoughts about about all this, about these crazy weird jobs?
So the one thing that I think is a lot of people say that like this technology is being invented and it's going to take away my job, and a lot of people will, or a lot of times it's not even it's going to take away my job. It's people will be like it's just going to take away jobs, and I don't think that's what technology really does. It might do it initially, but like the bowling alley was still open.
Right.
After they invented the automated system. And that guy...
Well, they needed a technician to
be like,
repair the...
Yeah, that guy probably still worked there after they got it. And he was probably like, oh my God, I don't have to run around and sweat and have pins and balls get thrown at me all the time. You know, he's probably like...
Which sometimes can be fun.
Yeah, it might be fun.
Yeah. Balls.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Balls part.
Yeah.
Sure. Maybe not the pins.
No. That's just slapping you in the face. But I mean, he probably got paid more if he was learning or willing to learn about the machine to be able to repair it.
But even still, it was probably like, hey man, like you've been working here for 10 years, you still got a job, but we got this machine, it's just gonna make life better.
But I'm not gonna assume that. It could possibly also be that they just fired everybody like that wasn't unnecessary and brought in new people because they already knew about the machine and they said you don't know.
Yeah, that is totally possible.
Not everybody's cool.
What I've seen throughout history is like the industries don't die because new technology is instituted and there aren't less jobs. When technology is invented. It's just that jobs change. And it's usually for the better because now if you're a gong farmer, or the industry that handled what the gong farmers had to do, you don't have to work like that anymore.
Do you remember back in the day when we were bong farmers?
Bong farmers?
Yeah.
I still am.
Still farm all the bongs.
So that's what I think. I know, like, a lot of times there's a lot of tension and be like, oh man, this technology came out and now there's not going to be any of these workers. And it's like, that industry is still going to exist. There's still going to be workers and it might actually just be better.
Right. Yeah. Rico here says, this kind of ties into the AI episode. It kind of does.
Yeah.
I mean, progression of
We're
society.
still us. We just talk about stuff. Absolutely.
Yeah, for me, it's makes me definitely grateful for what I do. I love what I do. I love it. Freaking love it, man. We get to go play music all the time. Come on here and talk about some stupid shit. And go work at a card shop and play games and shit. And I do numbers. Now, the numbers thing is kind of fun. Sometimes it's not. But sometimes it's a lot of fun because like you're able to it's like working a puzzle. And you're if I do this, and if we spend more here and spend less here, then we can do this. And then how can we, maintain this whole freaking
when you're allowed to be in a creative space in your head.
Like create,
Because I noticed that too. It's like a lot of times I won't like editing stuff.
Yeah.
But
that's why you haven't seen any clips, because Kyle is lazy.
But there is actually, it was actually a lot of fun to work on. We edited down the Don't Laugh Challenge.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like, oh, I actually don't have to just think of this as a mundane task that I have to do. I can actually put some ideas into it and have some fun with it.
And that's a good point too, because sometimes it's just that perspective. Sometimes you're sitting there man, I don't want to do this. It's like every morning I wake up and I do not want to work out. I don't want to get on my bike. It's only 30 minutes, man. But I swear every morning I do not want to. But if you remember, it's just doing it, man. It's the journey. Have a good time with whatever in the world you're doing. Create. Okay, now, real quick, I want to show you guys this one more time. Check that out. It's the brand new t-shirt. It's going to be up on Store Frontier soon. How soon, Kyle?
We can probably, I don't know. Do we want to do pre-sales for it?
No.
Do we want to just shadow drop it?
I think we're
just going to drop it?
Drop it.
It'll be ready next week.
Next week. All right, it's going to be ready next week.
Yep.
We're really excited about it. I think it's really cool. I know most people will be like, what? It says Black Cow. That's not the name of the band. I know.
But it's the name of the song.
It's the name of the song, man.
It's a fun song.
It's a fun song, and it's cool. It's got a good story. Kyle's animation is on point. It looks good. I dig it.
Sweet. So it'll be out next week.
Yeah.
Remind me, but yeah, it'll be there.
Remind me. Sherry,
all the files are ready. It's all ready to go.
Sherry here says, love the shirt. Yes!
Sweet!
Yes, me too. Rico says, who else is going to head hit the like button besides me and Steve. I don't know, but I think everyone should hit the like button. That's needed.
It helps.
It
It helps
helps
when you share too.
Yeah, you share
or just
it.
tell people about it. Be
Tell
like, hey
people.
man, there's this podcast to listen to. It's kind of fun.
These guys are
It's
idiots.
and it's live and we get to hang out.
This one guy's bald, this one guy's like opposite of that.
Yeah.
You know?
Opposite of bald.
We were trying to figure out before we started what we could do with Kyle's hair. If
Hairy.
like he cut it off, like what all we could do. Anyway, nobody even shared your worst jobs. No, I got Steve's earlier about the pig stall
the pig
cleaner thing.
You know, I've been pretty lucky. I don't know if I've ever had like a terrible job.
Right.
My first job I was a busboy.
Yeah.
And actually, the sweet thing about it was I was a busboy in a resort. So the resort, they had this idea of like, we're going to have all these different crews. So they had like a third shift cleaning crew. So anywhere you worked in the resort, you didn't have to clean because there was just this cleaning crew that came in. And they had a room service crew. And it was always like, everything was like subsidized, and you had like an area of expertise. So all you would have to do is bust these tables. Well, then that went out the window. But the room service crew got absorbed by the busboys because we were the only ones that like had the time to do it. And you got like commission on room service. So we're all like 15, 16, and it was an expensive place. People would order like expensive champagne and stuff, and you'd get commission from that. So,
and that's your worst job? You like just
No.
talked it up like it was awesome.
No,
for a child to work at.
like that was, I was gonna say, like that
You're
was
making bank.
That was
right?
my first job, and I was like,
Yeah.
this is it. You know, because bussing tables kind of sucks.
But what's
like
your-
anybody that's done it, be like,
What's your
it's
shittiest
not a
job?
glamour.
Do you have like a shitty job that you ever worked?
Well, you know, after that, I was a waiter and bartender, and I worked at a gym, and then I joined a band.
Now, cleaning gym gear sounds awful. Like sweat and like
Yeah,
testosterone. on
you
everything.
had to, like, I remember, like, our manager was, like, clean all the time, and then it doesn't suck.
Right.
So it was, like, and we had these little cleaner bottles and towels positioned everywhere.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, if you sweated all over something, you were supposed to do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? It wasn't, like, you don't leave it up to the attendant.
Right.
But, so you kind of would walk around and, but honestly, that job was great because I was in school and you had to sit at the attendant and like anybody that would come in for a contract.
Right.
And so I would like write all my papers.
Yeah.
You know, like if someone would walk in the door, I'd like tab over so that it could actually like clock them in with their little card or whatever.
I think my worst job, I worked at, I was night clerk at a hotel in Helen.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, but I had to do the night audit, which really was like, do what it says on this paper and do that. And I just sat there. So you'd get like a bunch of weird drunks and stuff that would come in, but then like at a certain time you'd lock the door. And then I would like sleep until the morning person got there. or
That doesn't sound so bad.
right,
You know what I mean?
but it's kind of scary, you know? And
I
then-
guess so, yeah. Like,
Or I'd bring in my GameCube and I'd play Spider-Man. Yeah, that was pretty fun.
I remember, like, yeah, I worked, because you had to be there, like, almost 4 o'clock in the morning, because it,
Right.
like, opened at 5. And I remember the lights took forever to turn on. It
Yeah.
would take 20 minutes for the lights to, like, actually fully illuminate.
Right.
Because those big, like, industrial lights. And so I remember, like, you'd be back in the laundry room, and it'd be cold, because it was up in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, this room's really warm. I could just... no one ever comes in, like, between, like, 9 and 10 o'clock. Like, people would come in at their lunch break. People would come in before work, but there was always a lull. I'd be like, I bet I could probably just take a nap on this dryer with all the warm towels.
Right.
I never did it because I was too afraid of getting caught.
Right. I remember the morning. I remember when I was younger, like the morning clerk, like was kind of sweet on me, and one time she took me like in the washroom. You know, so it was like morning time. Woo! Went in there on the dryer. All right, and there was let's see here. Rico says today sucked at work, but I love my job. Some days just suck, man.
Yeah, some days just suck.
This
I mean, you
happens.
can't get around it.
Nancy here says I have a great gig also. You do, Nancy. And thanks for all the help with that stuff too, by the way, on the side there. Sherry says waitress at 16. First day I dumped coffee all over this guy. I got fired. Awkward.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
oh,
that'd be weird.
That's just an awful situation.
Yeah.
Because the guy's like, I'm burned. And you're like, I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry.
And they're like, you're fired.
You're fired. Yeah. That's awful.
Oh man.
All right, and also, real quick, remind everybody, we're going to Myrtle Beach.
We're gonna do it.
We're gonna do it.
We like just confirmed it, and we're really pumped.
We haven't been there
glad
since
to
the
see you.
apocalypse, so it's fun. We've been to Florence, haven't been to Myrtle Beach,
Haven't been to Polly's Island,
and also haven't been to Myrtle Beach.
but we've been to Florence.
We have been to Florence since, but we haven't been to Myrtle Beach.
We haven't been to Polly's Island.
That's true. Since.
Not in years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So come, if you're in the area, come check it out. Come do it. Do that thing. In here, before the end, we want to remind everybody, go check out Patreon.
Do it! It's
Go
right
check
there!
it out.
It's right there!
It's right
It's
over
right
there.
there! Yeah.
For even as low as $1 a month, it goes a long way. We were just talking about, we just finished the new cover. This one's taking a little bit of time because we have some ideas and we want to do all this cool stuff. But we're going to be shooting the video for it this Sunday, which means probably the week after, since we're going to Myrtle Beach. And that'll probably be out the following week. So we're really pumped about it. Go check it out. We love what we do over there. We love all you guys that are on there already. We know a few of you guys here in the comments are part of this, and we love you and are grateful for you dearly. But that's going to do it for us, you guys, man. Thank you for being here. We love you guys so much. R2D2 loves you.
And but straight chest hair loves you.
Straight chest hair loves you.
Yes.
Thanks for tuning in. We won't be here next Thursday, but the following Thursday we will be. So be sure to go over to Roshambeaux.com, sign up on the mailing list, and you'll know every time we go live. It's every other Thursday at 7. Also, if you have an idea for like topics that you want to hear us talk about, if you want to hear stories, topics, trivia, if you have any kind of ideas, be sure to send them to us via like DMs or email us or go to the contact us thing on the website.
Yeah.
And we would love to do stuff like that and that you want to hear about. Right? Right?
Right.
Right? Right. All right. Well, until next time, you guys, we love you guys so much. Rico!